Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
Hello, Aaron. Come on, man. You here? Aaron. Come on, let's flip the switch and get this thing going. Ah, that's much better.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, best-selling author and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
While some might say I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, most of my 2,500 plus clients who have spent time with me know that I'm a straight shooter. I'm very detailed. Fortunately, I have a very great staff to support our process, and I do have a knack for making the complex seem rather simple. Now, with this experience in hand, I'm now in the process of training my favorite son-in-law, Trey, about this business, as well as my favorite nephew, Wes Walker, who also works in the business, about how to best help savers worry less about money. And of all the training I can provide them, the number one rule of thumb as an advisor is this: don't try to talk to people about things you don't understand, but instead focus on the things you do. Now, with this said, one of the areas of study that I'm teaching them in is something that I'm known for around the country, that is for my experience and expertise in this financial product, a product called an annuity. You may have heard of annuities, and chances are, if you have, it's usually not in the best of light. So why is this? Why would someone like me, who has studied from some of the top financial institutions in the country, had the opportunity to study with some of the brightest people on the planet, be such a proponent of annuities, while many others out there, namely talk show hosts who don't really know much about annuities or work with people on a day-to-day basis, and of course the folks on Wall Street who tend to, up until now, hate these products? Why would somebody like me shed such a positive light on annuities and others tend to turn the lights off on them? Well, welcome folks to the Worry-Free Retirement, and I am that little man in the sweater vest, 401k rollover specialist and retirement planning specialist and fiduciary Tony Walker. And with us, as always, trying to keep the lights on around here, is America's favorite financial sidekick, Mr. Aaron Orander, along with his favorite sidekick, our technical director, Miss Megan Murphy. Okay. So what in the world is going on here? For years, I've had to listen to all the financial hacks on radio, TV, and the internet, and many of the folks on Wall Street poo-poo annuities. But as of late, it appears that many politicians and many of these pundits and folks on Wall Street have kind of flipped the switch when it comes to annuities. That's right. Strangely, out of nowhere, we are starting to see more and more favorable light shed on these things called annuities. And of course, they're also talking about how important these products are in the retirement planning process. This flip the switch moment for these know-it-alls appears to be a fact that I've been preaching for years, some 20 years that is that annuities, listen closely, are the only product that can guarantee an income you can never outlive. And given the fact that the number one financial fear of Americans is running out of money, and seeing as though annuities are the only product that can guarantee you won't run out of money, why has it taken so long for the financial world to embrace these wonderful tools of retirement planning called annuities? Well, today, I'll give you my opinion on what I think this is going on here, and then following this, we're going to look at the real reasons savers should carefully consider adding annuities to their retirement plan. Now, most importantly, before you ever purchase an annuity from anyone, you got to make sure, first of all, that that person is a fiduciary and that also has a long history of working with these products. And then finally, they show evidence that they're going to service the sale long after the sale takes place. Now, stay tuned. When I return, we're going to expose the real reason Wall Street and others have hesitated on selling these products. That is, until now. Stay tuned. I'm going to flip the switch on how the financial world is making money on your money and why all of a sudden they're getting ready to make money on annuities. Who can you trust? It's one of the most important decisions you'll have to make. Question is, are you ready? Well, we're here to help at Tony Walker Financial. You know, we care more about you than we do your money, and we have over 2,000 happy clients and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Rolling over a 401k, confused about Social Security, maybe you're afraid of running out of money. Learn how to use and enjoy and protect your hard-earned money. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started. Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. We're talking about this flipping the switch thing that's going on, where more and more positive light is being shed on this age-old product known as annuity. Now, years ago, you couldn't find many articles that even talk positively about annuities, but not now. They're everywhere. Here's one, in fact, this is a good one from Kiplinger. Now, Kiplinger doesn't have an axe to grind one way or the other about annuities, but I love what they say here. Income annuities take risk out of retirement. Let's look closely at this. When used properly, annuities provide invaluable security. So why aren't more people going for them? A new Brookings Institution study says some insights and some strong recommendations for consumers. Look at this. Few adults would go without, I love this, auto, home, life, health insurance, but the kind of insurance that protects against the risk of running out of money is an old age question and greatly underutilized. It's called an annuity. Last sentence, I got to read it. Most people planning for retirement should strongly consider an income annuity. So that's a great article. There's tons of these out there though. But my favorite article, where we're going with this, gets into the meat of the matter. Remember, if you want to find out anything in life, why people recommend certain things, just follow the money. This is called Making the Fiduciary Case for Annuities. This came out of wealthmanagement.com. The article was written by Michelle Richter. I think it's R-I-C-H-T-E-R, February 28th. Listen to this though. She says no load annuity product development. Now, what is a no load annuity? No load means that there's no commission. Okay, we're getting ready to go somewhere with this, folks. Hang on real closely. Remember, up until recently, annuities could only be purchased from advisors, and in most cases, the advisor, such as us, got a commission. For some reason, and you'll find this out in just a second, Wall Street and the community at large hates commissions, but they love fees. I'll explain this. So what she's saying is there's these no-load annuities that are being produced, and that means fiduciaries all of a sudden might use annuities. She's admitting here that, look at this, the annuities are complex, they're expensive, they come a lot with the no obligation free dinner seminars. I like that, the free steak dinner. But what she's saying is now that they don't offer commissions and people can offer no-load annuities, they're all of a sudden great. And that fiduciaries ought to consider them. Folks, I've been a fiduciary for years. I've sold loaded commission-based annuities for years. I have over 2,500 people that love these things. I've got over $400 million in annuities. This has nothing to do with commissions. It has everything to do with fees. You see, most people represent Wall Street. They really do. And what happens is these annuities are not Wall Street products. They are not security products. That is, if they're fixed or fixed indexed annuities. So the problem is these folks would rather work on a fee basis. They'd rather earn a recurring fee, but annuities don't pay recurring fees. They pay a one-time commission, and that's a problem for Wall Street. But not now, because insurance companies are starting to develop what's called no-load annuities. But you got to ask yourself, well, wait a minute, none of these people, whether they're commission-based people or fee-based people, none of these people are working for free, are they? And I would say, amen. Everybody has to earn a living. So it's not really the commissions that are a problem. It's an understanding of how to use annuities properly, which is what they're for. They're to provide lifetime income that you can never outlive. So with more and more Americans retiring and getting older, people know, the financial world, that you're going to need to invest your money somewhere. But again, most people don't want to risk it all in the stock market. People are realizing this. The financial world is realizing this. All these 401ks have always been in the stock market. But as people retire, they don't want to run out of money. And again, annuities are the only instrument that can do that. But I'm not a financial institution. I'm not with Wall Street. I'm an independent fiduciary. My goal each day is simple. I wake up every day, I see a lot of people, and I do my best to put them in products and strategies that as a fiduciary I truly feel are in their best interest. However, just like everyone else, I have to earn a living. I have to get paid. Let's face it, I got a wife, 3 kids, 2 grandkids, and a 90-pound black Russian terrier that are all depending on me to get up and get out and work hard and bring home the bacon. So, With that said, you have to understand that in the financial world, anyone, including yours truly, or any financial institution that's asking you to place your money with them has to get paid. And there's three ways they have to get paid. Either they will make money on your money, what's called a spread, we'll talk about this in a minute, or they can earn a commission on your money, and or they can charge annual fees. So let's start with the spread. And this is very difficult for savers to understand, but it's actually very simple. The spread usually involves either banks or insurance companies. So how does this work? Well, let's take a bank. You drive over to your local bank and you hand them $5,000 and you tell them to put it in a CD. They pay you 2% on your money, so what do they do with it? Well, they don't just lock it up in the safe or the vault. They take it and loan that out to other people so they can make money on your money, which is perfectly legal. Let's say they hope to make 5. They're going to pay you 2 or 3%. The difference is the spread or their profit on the money. Not bad. Now the same holds true for insurance companies. You purchase an annuity through them, for instance. You give them $100,000, they're going to pay you 2 or 3% or whatever the going fixed interest rate is. They do the same thing, folks. They're taking your money and investing it in bonds and mortgages and other investments, hoping to make 4, 5, 6%, and then they give you back 3. So the difference, their profits, is called the spread. Now what about commissions? Well, this is where it gets a little goofy. Take this recent article about annuities again. So it's focusing on people selling annuities. And the idea is that it's dangerous to buy an annuity from somebody who's making a commission, which is totally ridiculous. So just because you have a few bad apples out there that I agree peddling annuities, making big commissions, doesn't make annuities nor the commissions they pay bad. So this article creates a dilemma for fiduciaries not selling them because of the commissions. And again, I've been a fiduciary for years, sold hundreds and hundreds of annuities with commissions, and that does not make them bad. The problem with annuities is most people don't understand them, nor do they have a game plan with which to use those annuities. So again, they pay a commission. Now you can also work on fees. I actually work on fees as well. So the annuities, I get paid a commission if I sell those. With investments, we get a fee. Our fees through our Charles Schwab platform currently are 0.2% a quarter or 0.8% per year. Now that's well below most money managers that I run into. In fact, the majority of money managers I look at charge about 1.5% per year. And as you can see, those numbers in red, those are some big, big fees. In other words, they're going to make money on your money whether you do or not. They're going to do better even when you do worse. So Wall Street has gotten away from commissions, quite frankly, because in my opinion, it's a whole lot easier just to keep and hang on to your money and charge recurring fees than it is to get up and work hard every day and go out and sell something and earn a commission. So when we come back, I'm going to get the whiteboard out. I think it's very important to, number one, show you the difference between the spread, commission, and the fees, and an actual example. And then secondly, I'm going to come back with an annuity and show you during these turbulent times that we've had. You know, we're filming this show on March 3rd, 2020. We're right in the middle of this coronavirus thing, and the market's all over the place. We're going to talk about where you would have been had you not been in the market with no fees versus being in the market and with them. You're watching the Worry-Free Retirement. I'll be right back.
Win or lose, games are a blast, but playing around with your retirement is serious business. So don't leave your retirement to chance. Get a retirement game plan from well-known retirement specialist Tony Walker. Learn how to be worry-free in retirement with a safe and simple game plan that includes mailbox money for life. To meet in person with Tony, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement, taking a look at my latest book, Live Well, Die Broke. Thank you so much for everybody helping this to be a #1 bestseller on its launch date back at the end of February. Again, it's available now at Amazon.com, either the digital copy or you can get it in paperback. Live Well, Die Broke. I think you're going to really enjoy it, and thank you for all your support on that and making it a bestseller. Okay, we're looking at this and we're just imagining the 3 ways that the financial world makes money on your money. Remember, nobody's in this business for free. Don't let them kid you about that. Yours truly as well. I got bills to pay, I got a family to take care of, and I got clients to serve. So here we go. We're imagining we have $100,000. We're either going to run over to the bank and put it with them, we're going to buy an annuity and pay someone a commission, or we're going to invest it with either our Charles Schwab platform or maybe Wally World out there who's charging a little bit more money than we charge on our fees, okay? So let's imagine the spread. Let's say that the bank or the insurance company wants to make 2% on your money, and we're going to use a 4-year window. So now they might be willing to pay you 2%, okay, and they make 2%, and you say, hey, Tony, over 4 years, cumulative, okay, I made 8%, 2% a year. So if you had $100,000 approximately, it'd be worth about $108,000, and your principal's protected, and you might say, I don't care what the bank made, my money was protected, and I got 2%. All well and good. Now, what was your cost? Your cost was not the spread, because that was their money that they agreed to pay you to. Your cost is what's called the opportunity cost, had you maybe invested it somewhere different, okay? So there is a cost to everything. Now, the commissions. Let's say the average commission on an annuity upfront, one-time commission, is 6%. Now, that's $6,000. That's not chump change, okay? But that is paid to the agent or the advisor from the insurance company. That $6,000 is a one-time commission. They get no other money from that, and the full $100,000 works for you. Now you say, well, how do they do that? Well, if you cancel the contract in a certain term, they can come back and take some of that money back from you. So you have to understand surrender charges, but basically that's all the cost is. So a lot of what we do, probably 80% of our business is annuities. So I have to get out and work hard every day. The reason I see 30 people a week is because I want to work with a lot of people and I have a lot of overhead. We have to sell a lot of annuities, and we do sell a lot of annuities, okay? And we disclose all these commissions. We'll tell you what we make. We don't care. But here's where the rubber meets the road. You know, Wally World out here, the average money manager is charging 1.5% per year. A lot of times you don't even know what they're charging you. I had a gentleman come in last night, and he is really put out. He has a very, very nice friend of his that's a broker, but he says, Tony, every time we meet, he gives me all these statements. I don't know what they mean. We never get around to talking about fees, and every time I leave his office, I still don't know what the heck's going on. I mentioned about doing income planning, he says, and the guy says, yeah, we'll get to that. Well, the problem is the guy ain't going to get to that. And secondly, they're not motivated to give you any of your money back. Why would they when they're making 1.5% per year? Now think about this. They're the same ones dogging commissions, but all they got to do is keep your money 4 years, okay? And they've made the same $6,000. But here's where it gets ugly. Regardless of whether you make money or not over time, they keep charging 1.5% per year. So if you do worse, they still do better. This makes no sense to me, folks. So you need a combination of things. There is no right or wrong answer. What you have to ask yourself is, what in the world am I getting from any of these institutions when they take over my money? This is why we created the worry-free retirement process. The process, number one, discloses how much we're paid, but more importantly, allows you to monitor your progress with our proprietary software so you can see exactly how you're doing, and more importantly, how you can use and enjoy your money now rather than later without the fear of running out of it. Okay, so we're looking at these three options. What I'm going to do, I want to kind of take a deeper dive into these two. So through the magic of television, I'm going to flip this whiteboard around. Hang in there. Here we go. So what we've got here is a 5-year period, and we're imagining we put $100,000 in a fixed indexed annuity, and we threw $100,000 over to Wall Street, and that particular advisor charges 1.5% per year. And we're just imagining that the market over the next, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's close enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. Over the next 5 years, okay, goes up and down, all right? And finally ends up back to break even. That's what the market is. I'll try to do the best I can to emulate this. So in both scenarios, you could have either put $100,000 in a fixed indexed annuity, all right, and the company paid the agent $6,000, or you could leave it in this period of time and then roughly the fees, let's just ballpark it, are $6,000. So basically we're on the same playing field here. Each advisor through this period of time made roughly the same amount of money. So what's going on here? Why would a saver want to include a fixed indexed annuity in their portfolio versus having all their money at risk in the stock market? Well, here's why. See, did you realize in the last year, with all the ups and downs we've had and all the growth we've had in the last year, the market is literally back to square one. In other words, back in March of 2019, if you put money in, as of today, the market's about the same. But they've charged fees. Even in our Schwab platform, we would have charged 0.8%. We still get paid whether you make money or not. That's why we keep our fees so low. We think it's only fair to charge a lower fee because of this volatility. But what would have happened here? In this example, with a fixed indexed annuity, okay, any of those gains you had would have been locked in. Unfortunately, in this example with the market, assuming the same market, you'd be back to break even after this 5-year period of time. So what are we saying here? Should we put all our money in a fixed indexed annuity? Well, of course, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is you want the best of both worlds. The way you do that is with Tony Walker Financial and what we call our worry-free split IRA concept. Folks, I've done this for years. I've been licensed to sell securities since 1986 as well as insurance. I've been on both sides of the aisle for many, many years, and I have experience in both areas. I like annuities, and in some cases, I'm happy to put money in the market for liquidity purposes. So how does this work? All you got to do to find out more about our split IRA concept and whether an annuity is right for you is just log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Now, once there, you're going to click on that Let's Get Started button. That goes confidentially to our offices, and then we arrange either a phone call with myself or, if it's necessary, I'll be happy to meet with you in person at either our Bowling Green, Louisville, or Lexington, Kentucky offices. So do it now. Let's get a handle on things. Let's shed some light on your finances. Quit being in the dark about this stuff. Allow me to put my expertise to work for you. No cost or obligation to me. TonyWalkerFinancial.com, and click on that Let's Get Started button. Well, speaking of feeling like you're in the dark, did you realize the Bible speaks about this topic frequently, the difference between light and dark? We got some good stuff coming up, some really good news about how you can permanently be in God's light. Got to get me a cup of coffee? I'll be right back. Have you recently retired, been laid off, or offered a pension buyout? Has the company you work for moved, been acquired, or closed its doors forever? And finally, do you have a 401k with a previous employer you'd like to move to safer territory? Then take advantage of this opportunity to move your 401k or lump sum pension to Tony Walker Financial. Let's meet in person to discuss your retirement options. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to schedule your free, no obligation appointment. Let us help you today. Today's show has dealt with the sudden realization of a switch being flipped. In other words, instantly being transformed from being in the dark to now being in the light. Funny thing about light, it leaves nothing hidden but exposes the truth. Some might even call such a flip the switch moment as an aha moment. That moment when all of a sudden things make sense. You know what? In June of 1991, with my own business about to go belly up, a faithful wife having to work nights as a nurse to keep us afloat, and no money in the bank, I truly felt like I was in the dark. But thankfully, when all hope seemed to be lost, by God's grace, He flipped the switch on to expose the darkness I was in, and how easy it was for me to move from that darkness to His light. I guess you could say I had transformed from a spiritual aha moment. You know, for the first time in my life, I understood the difference between being in the light and being in the dark, and between truth and error. In my practice, I witness scenes of light and darkness all the time. I hear of things shared to me by others, things of darkness they might be going through that I cannot explain but certainly understand. Dark times such as the female client of mine I met just the other day who was just informed by her husband of 35 years that he wants a divorce. Dark times of losing a spouse, a parent, or worse yet, a child. Darkness that engulfs families who have loved ones addicted to drugs. And in these dark times, I'm reminded that there is only one true light, and that is our hope and faith that is found in Christ Jesus. A hope, a light that is never dark but always light. You see, while the world promises light, in the end, it only offers darkness. The world will one day flip that switch on you and I, and this whole thing's going to be over. But not so with God. His mission is to transfer us from darkness to light. His switch always turns us on into the light. He doesn't want us to remain in the dark. In fact, the Bible says that in Christ, with His death, we who believe in Him will be transformed from darkness to light. The Bible teaches that Jesus was the light and still is. In fact, in Matthew 27:45, while Jesus was being crucified at the cross, it says that for 3 hours, the world fell into complete darkness. You think the recent eclipse was dark. Incidentally, here's a picture of me and my wife Susan looking like complete idiots as we and millions of other Americans stared directly into the sun with our $2 cardboard glasses for about 20 seconds as the sun turned dark.
Have you ever seen an eclipse?
Yeah, I've seen many, yes.
You know, if you stare at it head on, it'll burn your eyes out.
Another reference to this flipping of the switch all of a sudden is found in 1 Corinthians 15:51 and 52, that it says, in a moment when we least expect it, God is going to flip the switch on this world, referring to the concept of a twinkling of an eye, which means in an instant, we the dead shall rise and no longer be in the darkness, but be transformed into eternal light. Now, I'm not sure about you, but that sounds pretty good to me, and I think I'll go with that, and I hope you consider doing the same. And speaking of flipping the switch from taking you from darkness as it regards your finances to more light, why don't we talk about that? You know, my business is helping savers kind of shed light on where they are, and most people that I meet have no clue what they're doing. They don't understand the products they've purchased, and just as disappointingly, they don't have a way to use and enjoy their money. This is why I created the Worry-Free Retirement. It's a 5-step process, and it's built for savers. The idea is you've worked hard for your money. We want to help you use and enjoy it without the fear of running out. And we know what we're doing. We've done thousands and thousands of income plans. I've worked in this field for years. I know retirement planning, folks, and all I would say is before you flip the switch and commit your money to somebody, why don't you get a second opinion from Tony Walker Financial? Best of all, it's very easy to do, and there is absolutely no cost or obligation. So right now, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, click on that Let's Get Started button, and we will help you shed some light on your finances. Well, speaking about flipping the switch, one more series coming up next week when we flip the switch on saving your money to spending your money. Good stuff next week, but between now and then, you remember, if all else fails, you be worry-free. Make it a good one.